Welcome back to um, anyone that was here yesterday, or Happy New Year and welcome for those of you here for the first time. This is for Allegheny Nursing 240. Um, just as a reminder, if you haven't looked at the blueprint in a little bit, you're responsible for basically everything you've already learned from 110 to 130 to 220, 230. And then the really the only thing that's a little bit different, actually it's not even that much different, is the nitroglycerin drip question, but you may have already seen a similar question last semester. It is the question that has the wrong answer in the key, in case you're wondering, like, how come I can't get this right? But you have the heparin questions. You'll have some sliding scale questions. So a lot of the similar questions. The 240 review I did on Monday was pretty short because everyone was pretty good with everything, but I'll go to your the review sheet, and then um, I'll probably start off with answering the question that everyone's probably struggling with. The two questions that are incorrectly answered, number 4 and I think number 11. So on this one, I think the answer in the key is 60 milliliters. The correct answer is 30. So if you got that 30 milliliters, just know that you did that right, because 2 tablespoons or 1 tablespoon is 15 ml. So it has to be 30. For this question, number 11, this is the one that requires a little extra. Um, there's a lot of extra uh, like steps involved with this. But I think you should have got an answer of, if I'm not mistaken, it's 13.1 milliliters per hour. So if you got 13.1, that's the correct answer. I can't remember what the answer says in the key, but I just know that it's wrong. It's actually wrong every semester. It's just a different number for some reason. But let me work through it just because it's the only one that's really kind of new, and then I'll open it up to any questions that you might have. Um, so what you're going to do is you're going to start off by taking the patient's weight and multiplying by the order, which is the 5 micrograms per kilogram per minute. And that's going to give you 350 micrograms per minute. Now, before we kind of move forward, you have your availables listed in milligrams, and then your order is listed in micrograms. So you need to resolve that. So you either need to convert milligrams to micrograms or micrograms to milligrams. What I would recommend doing is, before you even consider making that transition, because you're looking for ml per hour, and just in case you didn't know that, anytime they ask you to calculate an infusion rate, they're asking you to calculate in ml per hour. I would go ahead and just convert that minutes to hours, just so you have a nice big number to convert micrograms per hour to milligrams per hour. That way it's nice and, like I said, a nice big number. So 60 times 350, it's 21,000 micrograms per hour. And then I'm just going to convert. You could also just move your decimal point over, but I'll just show the conversion just since I'm already writing in that style. So we have 1,000 micrograms in a milligram. So we have 21 milligrams per hour. And then what I can do is just do my typical desired over available. So 21 milligrams over my available, which is the 400 milligrams, times the 250 ml. So 21 times 250 divided by 400. And I get 13.125 ml per hour. And we're going to round that to the nearest tenth. So 13.1 milliliters per hour. That was quite literally the only question I answered on uh on Monday yesterday. But um I'll leave it open. If you have a question, let me know. If you've gone through this and you feel solid on all these questions, there's really nothing more that I can tell you unless you want to look at additional practice, and I'm happy to do that with you. So I'll leave it up to you. You can type into the chat if you want to look at a particular question number or a type of question, or if you don't have any additional questions, that's fine too. But I'll hang out here while you um decide what you want to do.
Can we do 31?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. All right, so 31. What? The heparin protocol? No. All right. So it starts off by already giving you the patient's weight in pounds, and then they converted it to kilograms. So we're just going to work with the 90 kilograms just to be on the safe side. 198 divided by 2.2 is exactly 90. All right. So as a reminder, when you're going through the heparin protocol, the pieces of information you need are you need the patient's weight in kilograms, you need your available for your IV, and you're available for your bolus. And then you need to follow the protocol, which it's stated up above, but in the view that I'm showing, so my bolus is 80 units per kilogram, and then my um the infusion rate is 18 units per kilogram per hour. So um, I'm going to use that information to answer these two questions here, which is how many milliliters to administer for the bolus, and then what the infusion rate is. So I'm just going to actually just write that information up here since I have space in here and I don't have to change that too much. So the patient's weight is 90 kilograms. The order is 80 units per kilogram. And then I don't want units as my final answer, so I need to make one more conversion, converting units to milliliters. And I'm going to use the bolus dose, which was 1,000 units per milliliter. And when I do that, I should get 7.2 milliliters. Let me just double check. Yeah, 7.2. I was telling the 230 students the shorthand way of doing this, as long as it's the standard weight-based um, or the standard weight-based heparin protocol, whatever the patient's weight in kilograms is, you multiply that by 80 and divide by 1,000, and um you should get your answer. So that's just whatever the patient's weight is in kilograms times 80 divided by 1,000 will give you your bolus in ml. So when I said that in the previous hour, my students got pretty excited that there was a shorthand way of doing this instead of writing it all out. I still think it's important to write it all out, just in case they give you different data points. I don't think they will, but just in case they do. For the infusion rate, again, you're going to take the patient's weight, 90 kilograms. It tells you to infuse at 18 units per kilogram per hour. And then we don't want units per hour. We want milliliters per hour. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to convert units to milliliters, but this time I'm going to use the IV that's available, and that's the 25,000 units, 250 ml. And then for that one, I'm going to get 16.2 ml per hour. And just like the bolus for the infusion, there's a shorthand way of doing this. If you take the patient's weight in kilograms times 18 and divide by 100, as long as it's a standard weight-based um, protocol, meaning it's the same protocol as what's listed above, then you'll get to that answer. So, because the only thing that really changes with this question is the patient's weight, right? So, whatever the patient's weight is, that's ultimately going to determine what your bolus dose is and what your infusion rate is set to. Any questions on that? Was that helpful? Is that what you just wanted to kind of see it again?
Yeah, I just wanted to see it again. It's been a while. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Yeah, I know this is not something I feel like you're doing on a regular basis.
Do you know
Yeah,
if we have any like pediatric questions, like how we have to change it for their weight and stuff?
correct. So no, you
Okay,
won't you
God.
won't have that's not in the blueprint. The only thing that's like quote unquote like similar to pediatric is like the weight-based calculations,
Yeah.
and that's essentially what we're doing in the heparin protocol, but you won't have to worry about a safe range or answering like is this,
Okay.
yeah, you won't have to worry about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, what you see on this practice set is like, and they even gave you like extra questions. So you're gonna have the same 25 questions. You can miss two. Um, and then I'm gonna be honest with you, and this hopefully gives you a little bit of like confidence going into this. It's been a long time since I've had to remediate with somebody taking the 240 test. I think that the pass rate over the last several semesters has been 100%, which is really, really good. It just means that A, you already know what to expect. There's really nothing new on here. The only thing that is the struggle is the fact that the key is wrong for two of those questions, and it shakes your confidence.
Yes, can I see the beginning of the question, like from that weight number 1 to 10? I just wanted to highlight something from there.
Oh, you mean for the protocol?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
go
there.
ahead.
There is okay. Yeah, it's okay. I just wanted to. Okay, number two, Heparin 25 and 100, and the number 10 is the unit, the 80 units and 18. So that's what we are going to work on.
Yeah, that's the given protocol. So like if you did a Google search for standard
Mhm.
weight-based heparin protocol, this is what shows up.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so like I said, I don't have any specific additional questions to answer for you because we already went over the new question, the nitroglycerin. But if you have any questions or you want to see something work through, because it's been a while, just let me know.
Can you tell me which two were incorrect? You said
Number 4 and number 11.
number 4 and 11. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Which one is the nitroglycerin now? Is it this one? It's not the one we just did now.
It was the one I first did. So number 11.
Number 11.
Yeah. So right here, this one. So like
Number, did I?
the answer is 13.1 mil per hour, but the key I think says like 22 or something. It's the key is wrong.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you able to show number 11 in like ratio proportion style instead of this way?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, hmm. I'm trying to think of how I would do that.
because I never used this way.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. So, like, just because, like, that's not the way I would set up this problem.
hmm
Um, can you get to that 13.1 milliliters per hour by doing what you just asked me?
I don't know. So what I did was I did the 70 times 5, which I did get to 350. But then
Okay.
when I converted the 350, it was like 0.35 or something like that.
Okay.
And then I put the 400 milligrams over the 250 milliliters. And then I had the 0.35 milligrams over X milliliters. But I don't know how you got to the 13. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how the rest of it adds on.
Okay, so let me write down up here. So you told me you were at, I think you said
Point,
0.35
yes,
um
milligrams
okay.
over X milliliters. And then the other part was the 400 milligrams over 250 milliliters.
Okay, so equals okay.
And then I cross multiply. So it was like 80. Let me see what it was. 0.35 times 250. So it was 87.5 equals 400x. And then divide both sides by the 400. And I don't know where to go from there.
Okay. All right. So first of all, let's um we don't want milliliters down here.
Oh, okay.
Um that's the thing. So let's see here. So let me just take a step back and just
Okay.
like because I understand like you're actually like 99% of the way there just doing dimensional analysis.
hmm
So you told me you took the 70 kilograms times 5
hmm
um microgram. I'm just writing out the units here.
Okay.
And then you got 350 micrograms
Right.
per minute. So hold on, because I think I can answer your question too, and just kind of get us all on the right page.
Okay.
Then you converted that to milligrams. So
Right.
you got 0.35 milligrams per minute.
hmm
All right. So you're there. So the problem is like you, what we're trying to do is we're trying to go from milligrams per minute to milliliters per hour. And the problem
Uh,
is you got too many things. So you're not comparing apples to apples.
okay.
So it's hard to do the ratio proportion from here.
Okay.
So when you get to this part, the 0.35 milligrams per minute,
hmm
you can do this a couple different ways. You can actually do like, do you do order over available? Like when you do
Yes.
like, okay,
So would it be 0.35 times 60? Like, or no, you won't do that.
yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that because that's your 60 minutes per hour.
Right.
And then is that maybe that's where you got that 80 something? Let me just see here. So
I got
0,
21 actually with
okay.
that.
Yeah, times 6. Yeah, the 21. So what I had did was I just did what this step here, I just did it in the reverse position. So it's like it's kind of like, you know, I can choose A, B, C, D, but I can do A, C, B, D. I can do it in a different order.
Mm.
So, and that's fine. You're doing everything right. I think it's helpful working through this together. So I think we're both on the same page that we're at 21 milligrams per hour, right?
Yes.
All right. So if you're doing order over available, let's just say now let's just solve for milliliters. So what would I do with that 21 milligrams per hour if I was solving for milliliters?
That was what was the regular? I don't know what the regular problem was again.
It's right
I heard
here.
go
Yeah,
400 milligrams over 250 beside that.
right. So I'm going to divide by 400 and then multiply by 250, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you get?
Um, Look, I'm not as fast as you.
No, that's okay. No,
Okay.
I'm just writing it down, like, so that's why take your time. There's no rush.
13.125. So basically what you got.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
the challenge with what you were trying to do is that you have to account for this hour. And that's why I was saying you don't want like so, but if I can relate it to something that you kind of know what you're like what with what you're doing there, you just got to remember that you are in milliliters per hour. So
Okay.
as long as you can follow the steps that you did, we're gonna get to the same answer.
Okay. I was just at first initially in minutes, correct? And then that's when I had to switch it to the 60 to make
Correct.
okay. Okay, I got it.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for asking because sometimes like I'll have a particular way that I know and think of, and you might be thinking about it in a completely different way, but as long as we can both get to the same final answer, we're both doing it right.
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I'm still here, so if you have any questions or as you're looking through this and you have something else that you want to look at, let me know. You're also welcome to just type into the chat. You don't have to unmute. And if you don't have any other questions, you're welcome to leave. If you do leave, just know you can always email me any questions you might have. Um, and then I'll wish you good luck if you end up leaving before anyone else does. Yep. You're welcome, DeAndre. You're welcome, Amanda. You're welcome, Jinx. Do you have any other questions, Josephine? Are you still looking it over?
Yeah, I'm still trying to. I'm looking at how she did her this number 11.
Well, you don't have to do it the way she did it. You can do it as long as you get the right answer. Just do it whatever way makes most sense to you. I showed you the like kind of the long dimensional analysis way.
Yeah,
Technically that she just did it. She did the same thing I did, just in a different
in a
um
different.
organization. So
Yes. Mm-mm. I think I'm going to stick to the one I know before I get myself.
yeah, don't there's no this is not the time to change your strategy of how you do math. That's not
Yes.
you want to do as long as you're getting the same answer, the correct answer,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing it right. Just trust that process. So don't um I always say like with dimensional analysis, it's kind of like, we have like a tunnel and I can go
Mm.
north and south in that tunnel, or I can go south and north in that tunnel. I can kind of go through that tunnel any number of ways, but we
Yes.
end up getting to the same answer even if we put things in a different arrangement.
Different.
That's not an issue. So don't don't get yourself like um hung up on a different way if that way doesn't make sense to you. I had to figure out um like what she was asking based off of like just hearing her talk, and that's why I write it out. So
All right, I think I'm good. Thank you.
you're welcome. Good luck on your test.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya.
Yeah.